Hello and welcome to Aircraft Interiors Expo AIX here in Hamburg in 2017. And I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Mary Kirby of Runway Girl Network. Mary, can I ask you, what are your impressions of this massive show?
This show is so impressive. Aircraft Interiors Expo has become a really important part of our calendar. As journalists covering the passenger experience space, we have to be here. What's so amazing is that every year it gets bigger and better for us as journalists, and obviously for all the vendors on the show floor. As a journalist, it's getting difficult to keep up with all the news. We're doing our darndest to do that, but it is pretty amazing to see this explosion of growth in our sector.
And you say there's a lot of news. Have you noticed a trend amongst the headlines coming out of the show?
Yeah, we are noticing a trend. We're noticing on the aircraft interior side, on the seat maker side, a real effort to add a bit of comfort back to those economy class seats. Of course, a lot of airlines have gone high density on their aircraft, and so there have been some complaints from passengers sometimes that it's too tight. And so there is an effort on the part of seat makers to really add back a bit of comfort. That's really impressive to see, and I know passengers around the world would be grateful for that. On the in-flight entertainment and connectivity side, we're seeing a fresh messaging from the IFE camp about getting content to the seat backs in a more flexible, faster manner, being able to entertain and inform passengers better and helping the airlines make it a better value proposition. It's nice to see, it's nice to hear, and I think passengers will also appreciate that as well. But in-flight connectivity has been really and truly amazing growth there. And of course, passengers want to do in the air what they're able to do on the ground. And there is an expectation now that we are going to be connected when we board an aircraft. And so the pressure is on airlines to get their aircraft fitted ASAP to be able to support that connected traveler, because it's no longer really okay for us to be boarding an aircraft and flying 6, 7, 8+ hours without connectivity. And of course, airlines are realizing this and they're kidding up.
Do you think, on that point, do you think that airlines are getting it finally? And do you think there's been a lag in understanding on how important the connectivity is for passengers?
Yeah, I think there has been a lag. I mean, in the United States, obviously airlines were kind of early adopters, and there's lots of reasons for that. Of course, we had a dedicated air-to-ground network in the US that allowed airlines to equip their aircraft with a kind of a cheap and cheerful solution very, very quickly. But now the expectations have grown. We expect broadband connectivity. It needs to be consistent, and it needs to be offered, obviously, on a global basis. And I think airlines are realizing that, and airlines are now making the important decisions to offer connectivity, not just to the passenger, but also to use it for operational benefits, because there's a real IoT of aviation is here, and the sense that an aircraft needs to be connected from nose to tail now, the airlines are understanding that, and so we're starting to see some really interesting usage of that connectivity pipe, both in the cockpit, whether it's real-time applications for the electronic flight bag, all the way down to the crew, who are able to alert the ground that, say, for example, a seat part is missing or broken or something needs to be fixed. It ensures that when the aircraft hits that gate, the turnaround time is held intact, because everyone knows what needs to happen to that aircraft to get it back into the sky. So it is about the passengers, of course, and it's about ensuring they're connected, but it's also about the operational benefits of connectivity.
Now, seeing as we are at the Inmarsat Aviation stand,
Yes.
I would love to know what your impressions are of what Inmarsat Aviation are doing in the realm of connectivity.
Yeah, it's what's really interesting about the Inmarsat Global Xpress proposition is that it is a global offering. So there is a sense in the market that you want a consistent service, you want a global service, and that is a real value proposition that Inmarsat is bringing, and that messaging that Inmarsat is bringing to the airlines. I personally have not had the pleasure of trying the service, but I do understand that over 50 aircraft in the Lufthansa fleet are equipped, and we are starting to see, because we are called hump spotters out there. We're keeping an eye. I know, interesting term. Hashtag hump spotters on Twitter. But we keep an eye on the antenna radomes that we're seeing on aircraft, and we're starting to spot now some of the A350s rolling off the line with Global Xpress, and I believe we've even spotted an A380 that has been fitted. So we fully expect to be experiencing GX as passengers here in the not too distant future. I can't wait to finally get a chance to try it.
And I'm sure that Robeil will be on that case with facilitating that as soon as we can. But that's really interesting. You talk about the hump spotters, which I love that term. Do you feel there's a genuine excitement in the airline industry about the rollout of connectivity in Global Xpress?
Yes, absolutely, without a doubt. One of the things that as a journalist it's been a little bit frustrating, and we haven't been able to squeeze Inmarsat for all of the names of its customers. We know that Inmarsat has secured many customers for GX, but you guys are very cautious, shall we say, and you let the airlines make that announcement. And so as journalists, we are constantly kind of trying to track down who's the latest airline that is adopting. And so it's kind of exciting to see now the names are starting to be rolled out, and we're starting to understand just how big of a portfolio of customers that Inmarsat has for GX, and it's pretty profound. You guys are really a force to be reckoned with in the industry.
I'm glad you think so. And so finally then, tell me about the future. This is a moment in time, AIX. What are you looking forward to for the rest of 2017?
The rest of 2017, well, I personally, as a passenger, I would say that I travel a lot in economy class. So not being connected in flight is not an option for me. I am in the back of the bus. I need to be not only distracting the brain from the pain of sitting in economy, but I also need to be able to get work done, because time is money these days, and if I'm disconnected from my business, it costs me. So connectivity is absolutely essential for me, so I'm looking for airlines to get kitted up as quickly as possible. I am looking like those passengers that are excited about these new comfort options. I am looking for that in economy class, and because that's generally where I fly, and that's generally where the vast majority of people fly. So I want to see improvements in economy. I appreciate that we are in a tight space, but give us that connectivity, give us that little bit of extra comfort in the seat, and also give us a bit of entertainment to distract us from our situation.
On that note, Mary Kirby, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.